Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And we are here today with Cindy.
Good job! That was
good.
good.
Thank you. From Golden Bachelor. Cindy, how are you?
I'm doing great. Better than I deserve, probably, but I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
No
How are
such
you?
thing. No such
We're
thing.
good. I mean, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to meet you. You've been on this podcast before, but sadly you were on the one of the very few weeks a year that Joe and I were not on it.
Yeah.
There's only like one or two times that ever happens. So we were sad to miss you, but we're excited to chat with you today. We have a nice 2-part interview coming out.
Well, I'm happy to meet with you too, and I'm glad you had a great trip. You deserve it. You need to take that time for yourselves.
Thank you. Yes, it was much needed. It was
so
great.
you live. I want to. I know some of our audience knows some of this stuff already, but you live in Austin, Texas, right?
I live in Austin, Texas. I've been there for about 30 years, but today
Wow,
I'm
30
in
years, huh?
Los Angeles. But yes, I've been in Austin for a long time.
Yeah, that city's really changed, huh?
Oh my gosh. I live in downtown, and downtown when I moved there was a ghost town. Nobody lived down there. There wasn't any apartment complex or high rise at all downtown. That was it.
Really?
We
Yeah.
had an ordinance that you couldn't build buildings taller than the state capitol, right?
Okay.
So everything was really short. And when they
Yeah.
removed that ordinance, boy, it started
People started
booming.
coming.
And now it's just an amazing downtown area. The whole city is popping. You should
We
come.
went
I'd love to have you.
Yeah, we went to. I had my brother's bachelor party there. We went to a hotel lobby that was actually great. I think it was the Proper Hotel.
Yeah, it's 2 blocks from me. It's amazing.
Yeah, you live right there.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually looked at that hotel as a potential wedding venue when
Yeah.
we first started.
Oh,
Look, we didn't go
oh.
see it, but just when we were doing some research, we thought it was really pretty.
Yeah, Austin is super fun. We get a lot of people for bachelorette and bachelor parties and weekends. And I was on a plane yesterday with a group of guys who just got back. They just went down and ate barbecue. And that was their weekend was just finding all these great barbecue places. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite barbecue place in Austin?
They actually mentioned a couple of them that I haven't been, but my favorite is actually in a gas station. It's called Rudy's Barbecue off of 360. They have several across the state of Texas, but that one in particular, there's something extra special going on in their smokehouse. I don't know what it is, but it suits me.
Nice. I went to. I think it's called La Barbecue or L.A.
Yeah,
Barbecue.
sure.
That was a good spot. Katie and do you know Katie and Zach? They live in Austin.
I have not met them yet. I look forward to it.
Okay.
I'm sure you will.
And Kathy. Mhm.
Oh yeah. Have you met Kathy?
Remember, I'm just out. So
Yes.
I haven't been, I've been kind of sequestered from the world until this last week. So give me a minute, all right? Give me a minute. I'll track them down quickly.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you should hang out with Kathy. She's a good time.
Yeah, you have a good crew down in Austin. I have to make my way down there at some point. I've never been. I've always wanted to check it out. So it'll be really
We'll
fun.
treat you great
What
hospitality.
brought you to Austin? Because you've only been there for 30 years. So where did you come from?
Only's
No, 30's a long time. I just mean like you
Very long.
didn't. You weren't born and raised.
30's longer than you've been alive. So
It's a fair question. It's a fair question.
you've only been there for 30 years.
I moved to Austin to marry a man back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I met
Gotcha.
him. I was living in Dallas, living a great life in Dallas. You talk about a fun city for a single person, and especially back in the day. But I met a man who was living in Austin, and we decided to get engaged and had to pick where we moved, and Austin was it. Haven't looked back. It's been a fun place.
Did you watch the Dallas Cowboys documentary by any chance?
I haven't. I haven't.
That
And SMU
was
has a
good.
new documentary that I need to see as well about the death penalty, which I lived through when I was
Oh,
cheering
wow.
there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I've got to catch up on a lot of things.
Yeah, you have to watch the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader series too. America's favorite. I
Yes,
love
for
that
sure.
one.
And the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Okay,
We watch a lot
let's
of TV over
let's
here.
let's get into this. So before we get into AFR and everything, let's go back to Antigua. Where is Antigua, by the way?
Antigua is in the British West Indies.
Okay.
I don't know this because I had my phone with me because they take our phones, but
Yeah.
it's in the British West Indies. And I've been to islands that are about 100 miles away, but it's a special island. If you haven't been, put it on your short list. It was amazing.
A girlfriend I just saw this morning for coffee. She actually Bree Springs, who was also on The Bachelor. She was just there on a trip and she said it was exquisite, like so beautiful, somewhere I've never thought about going, but I really want to check out.
So the sand is like walking on a Tempur-Pedic mattress.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you get to Antigua. It's
Antigua.
Antigua. You get to Antigua. It should be called Antigua, by the way.
Pitch it. Tell them to change their
Cindy,
name.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Um, it's beautiful. You know, you're one of two women left. What is going through your mind when you first get there?
Uh, I was, what was going through my mind? I got to go back to that moment. You get off the plane, you're in this beautiful city. I walk through, I'll tell you what happened. I walked through customs and I handed my passport and he's like, "You're single." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, maybe you'll meet your husband on the island."
No
Really?
way. Did you feel like that
Yeah,
was a sign?
I did. I
Yeah, I
really
would
did.
too.
Because that's what I was thinking, right? Here I am. We're going to discover some more things about each other, move this relationship down the road, and wow, this is incredible. I actually found a guy, as crazy as it sounds, on national TV, and we're going to make this work. That's what I was thinking.
Were you at all hesitant going into Antigua because you were worried Mel maybe wasn't there yet?
No,
Okay.
I know. And
Okay.
after we know the ending of the show, it's hard to remember. So I've got to put myself back into that timeline. But at that moment, I believed that he was putting one foot in front of the other too.
Was any part of you at that point thinking about his connection with Peg or the fact that there was someone else there?
Honestly, I wasn't. It's kind of remarkable to think based upon how I responded after the pool party. But having Kathy and Susan come for the pajama party that night was very helpful. Kathy said to me, "You just got to pay attention to your own relationship with him. This is an unusual situation. Can you imagine in my real life going to an island with a man who was there with two women? That's just not going to happen. Not going to
Yeah.
happen. So suspend reality and play your game. Just like be in your own mind, be in your own relationship with Mel, and don't let what else is happening with his relationship with other people interfere." And that was such great advice at the perfect time. And I carried it with me the rest of the episodes.
Yeah, it is so interesting because we have seen the way you were responding and feeling in the beginning
Hmm.
of the season, every season, right? And it's just such a normal way to feel. But rare is it that someone kind of switches that mentality and is able to compartmentalize the relationship. And I feel like you really did that around that time where you stopped worrying about the other women, or at least that's what it looked like as a viewer. You really kind of locked in on just you and Mel's relationship.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, let me go back a little bit further, just give you a little tidbit of insight. The whole first episode, when I said I'm falling in love, what ended up on the editing floor is, but there's a lot of types of love. This feels like puppy love, those little puppies, you just want to be around them all the time. They're so cute. And Mel can walk in and wag his tail, and I'm right there. Um, but early on, I did have strong feelings for him, and was wondering how he was doing with the other women. And after that conversation with Kathy, it was pretty clear that if I was going to survive in my head and not eat myself up, that I had to change a mindset. It was great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mel your typical type of man?
There were a lot of things about Mel that I've been looking for. So I don't think I have a typical, and my daughter's kind of alluded this at the hometowns. I've dated a lot of great men. I've dated a lot of handsome men, a lot of smart men, a lot of wealthy men, a lot of athletic men. What I like about Mel is different than what people might have seen on his initial resume, so to speak. He's a professional athlete, a professional football player. So to the rest of the world, that might mean glamour and fame and money. To me, I'm a Division I athlete myself, and I know the dedication it takes to graduate from a school like Michigan, playing football at the level that he did, and then go on to play for the pros for a single team and then to turn and become an attorney. So the characteristics that I was reading from his resume, and if you look at Mel, were things that were a little different. I looked at his dedication. I looked at how curious he must see life to make a change. I look at how one of the things that I projected onto him that may or may not be true is how he was able to make big, bold changes in his life, going from the NFL to becoming an attorney. And I love in my life those moments at which I've just said, forget what the world thinks. What do you want to do? And shake it up. So Mel is my type for those reasons, but not for the reasons that you would automatically see.
Got it. What
You
sport did you play?
That was my question
I,
too.
I I was on the pom team and then I cheered. So both were letters. And so sadly, all those athletes, they're really, the football players and basketball players who probably put in more hours. I have better statistical credentials at the school because I got two letters and they only got one.
Oh,
But
nice.
I
nonetheless, I mean,
love that.
we practiced a lot. We traveled with the team. We had our own competitions, and it was a lot of work. And I loved every minute. Best seats in the house, if you ask me.
Oh yeah,
And what
cheering is
what do
no
you
joke.
do? What do you do now?
I'm retired. Retired last
Prior
October.
prior to being retired.
So I'll give you a whole history. So I graduated with a degree in biomedical engineering, and I started selling semiconductors. Moved to LA, lived in LA for a very brief period of time. Um, then moved back to Texas. That I missed the medical part of what I was doing, and I sold diagnostic imaging equipment, think MRIs, CT scanners,
Hmm.
etc. And then I got married, and we started to have a family. So I got promoted with Sarah, Emily, and Caroline, and I was blessed to stay home for 20 years with those babies and had a great time. That's the best job I've ever had. Then I came back to work when I found out, I was not going to remain married. And so there are a lot of things that I had to put back into place in my life. And I accidentally got a job selling in the facial aesthetics market, which is highly coveted. Every woman thinks that's the most glamorous. I like it because it's where all the science is.
Mm,
And so I'd been doing that for a while and decided to retire. We'll see what happens.
nice.
Amazing.
You have a favorite daughter?
Joe.
I I do. It's
Yeah.
Sarah,
Which? Okay.
Emily, and Caroline. And it's funny because I'll tell people this, like tonight I'll be with Caroline. I'll say, this is my favorite daughter. They'll all roll their eyes. It's just kind of a family joke that probably every family has.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
But we say, what's your favorite colors? Because colors is my last name. So
Oh,
Oh, I
what's your
didn't know
favorite?
that. That's your
Yeah,
last name?
Cindy
colors.
Colors.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you
great
That's
asked
a
if
name.
great
you
name.
asked Mel during the show what his favorite colors, he would say Cindy. Now I'm
I
not so
like that.
sure. I think he's going to have to say Peg.
Fair.
As he should, as he should, as he should.
Yes, that's very funny.
So going into the Stingray date, overall, just going into the date in general, what is the goal? What do you want to get out of Mel?
Oh, I think I said it on the show that I wanted to see if he had started making plans in his mind for me and for us. I also wanted to have a little fun. It had been several days since I'd seen him. I just wanted to go back to some of the playful part of our relationship that just I don't want to get that heavy all the time. So I wanted to see us play, and I wanted to find out if he had begun to think about what life might look like with me.
Was that playfulness between you two there most of the season? Because we don't, we only get to see so much, and I don't really think as viewers, for the most part, we didn't really see like the fun Mel, which I believe he is because we've had him on this podcast, and he is a lot more. He has a much bigger personality than the show I think let on.
I would agree with that for sure. Yes, it was like just horseback riding, for example. First, just even him getting on the horse, and he's self-deprecating, and he's also very supportive. And he was so fun to watch him literally coach his horse up that mountain, up that trail, and kind of be in the moment. And the couches that we sat on outside the observatory were so low that he looked at the producer and said, tell me what you need to get from us because once I go down, I'm not getting back up again, because it's just a
Yeah.
lower couch for him. He's a tall guy. Yeah, he's very playful. And yeah, I thought it was interesting that he wanted to see me outside of my comfort zone. And we go swim with stingrays, where he's definitely not interested in doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that activity. We see you kind of dive in. He's more hesitant, and it feels like you kind of coaxed him to come and try it.
I was a little surprised by how timid he was. Because on the boat, he's like, wow, those are big. Like they're prehistoric monsters. I thought they would be smaller. Um, but that's an observation. I didn't realize that he just did not want to interact with them. So we got into the pool and he wouldn't leave the ladder area. And I
Yeah.
couldn't stay in the ladder area because I'm underwater. Literally, I would be like up to my
Mm,
eyeballs on my tippy toes. So
So you
I
had
was
to
either
jump in.
I had to go in. I had to go out
yeah.
a little bit further to where the handlers had the stingrays, and they were all starting. The stingrays just, it's feeding time. They all know to come out and to swim around. So, and I had done it before, and it was new for Mel. So
Okay.
yeah, I look back and he's not following me. Check in, like, what are we doing here? You coming? Should I come back? Yeah.
So you go to the night portion of your date. Um,
Well, wait. Before we go to the night portion, how does the Stingray date end? Like, where are you guys before we even get to the night portion at the end of that Stingray date?
Like emotionally.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. How are you feeling?
Okay, so there was a moment at the end of the date where um, we are he's having to hold me, and it's just easier so I don't have to tread water, and you can't kick the stingray. So if I had to go to him, so he's holding me, and we're kissing and we're snuggling, and we have a moment, and I said, I just want you to know, this is real for me. Like, I have real feelings for you. This is not for show. This is truly how I'm feeling, and I think you're a great guy, and I could see a life together. And I don't need it tomorrow, but I could start seeing it, and I'm kind of surprised myself. And he at that moment says this is just really fast for him. And I got
Interesting.
back on the boat, and I thought, have I been misreading this? I kind of thought this is the direction we were going. And he had talked early on about wanting to go to Austin to see my kids, and he met my kids, and I was just a little confused getting back on the boat, but also wanting to still continue to have a good time. But listen, I could have a good time and not put myself out there as the way I did on the show to come home with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Could stay in Austin and go have a boyfriend.
Well, I also get how that would be kind of jarring to where it's like you have this nice little moment and then it's like that's tough. And like I understand like I get where Mel's coming from with
I do
like
too.
with a lot of it, but in the same breath this is kind of what you signed up for. Like it is like the show produces engagement. So like there has to be a part of you that needs to be willing to take that leap of faith. Even though if you're not that person, if you commit to the show, you are kind of committing to taking that risk. And I feel like I don't think he was able to do that.
Once he said,
But he's allowed to have, his own views and to be hesitant at that moment too. I recognize that Mel, I've been dating, I've had lots of experiences, and Mel told me at the limo night that he was using this experience to kind of to date, to look at a lot of different type of women, to kind
Mhm.
of try on a bunch of shoes, to use a Cinderella analogy, I guess. But he was using this process to do something that I had already done in real life.
mhm,
So it's fair for him to get to this point and to say, wow, I hadn't even thought about finding a girlfriend. It's a little much for me to think about finding a fiance, right? So I get
right.
it. I get
That's
it.
a great point. I didn't even think about that. Like if you're in your shoes thinking like, well, I've tried on all these different men and I've figured out kind of exactly what I'm looking for. So like when I find that person, I know like, hey, I'm
Mhm.
ready to commit. Whereas Mel, he did say on the podcast, I think as well, like he hasn't been dating. Like this is his time to date.
Right.
So then to jump from like I just started dating to I found my wife has got to feel like a huge leap for him. I
I
didn't even think
agree.
about that.
I agree.
Do you think, Cindy, it would be different if Mel had done the experience the way you guys did, where if he was a contestant vying for the Bachelorette and then
Mm.
became the lead? Because he technically
I,
never did the show.
I just got goosebumps everywhere. That's such a good question. That's a really good
I,
question. And
I, I
it's,
got a lot of them.
yeah, that's a really good one. Because, I thought about like production wise, would he have been a little less reticent in front of the camera if he had gone through it as a contestant. But I think you're right. I think that's a really good point that
Yeah.
he may have emotionally been more open to it and more vulnerable to it having gone through as a contestant. But very good question. And yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, we were wondering as well about he seems to have this strong feeling of like you're in the game, you finish the game. If you're in the game, you finish the game. And I think that is such a lead focused mentality because their game goes from night one all the way to the very
They
end.
have to finish.
They have to finish. They don't have a choice. Like their game is they walk into night one knowing that they have a job to do till the very end. Whereas the contestants, you're kind of like, I don't know when my game's going to end. Like my game is up to you. Or like I say, I think I have everything I need to know. I'm leaving. There's no certainty of like start to finish.
Also, very good point. But if he is going to require people to be in it to the end, he better keep his eye on the ball. I think he took his eye off of the relationships, and I can't really put my finger on what really happened. I think it just kind of got too real for him, and I felt him pulling away, and maybe it was that it was Peg all along, but I mean I could tell you it was if it was Peg, he would have been kissing me like he did in the water. Um, so I just think that maybe he just lost track of the ball and was looking at the timeline. To your point, Serena, that he's looking at completing all those steps, but he forgot to carry the ball with him in those
Got it.
steps. And he wasn't really progressing in a relationship with me or, you know, trying to figure out like what life would look like with me, how, what is, and really what struck me, and I haven't really brought this out anywhere yet, but we were in my condo for hometowns, and he's shaking a Cosmo for me. I may cry. This,
It's okay. It's really
Yeah.
emotional. Like you're doing a lot of reflection.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So on our one-on-one date, he said that he had a special Cosmo that he liked, and Cosmos are like one of my top drinks. And so he had the ingredients sent to my condo, and he's shaking me this condo. It's literally the shaker is spilling everywhere, and I don't care. I'm just watching this amazing man in my place, and I thought, wow, I could. This is what I want to be doing on Tuesday, on
Yeah.
the everyday.
Yeah.
And I think Mel was just going through the process part of it, and um, maybe took his eye off the ball and stopped thinking about what Tuesdays might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so hard to have that visual of knowing what you could have
Yeah,
in front of your face and then having it taken away from you.
yeah.
Well, now you could go out and have Cosmos on Tuesday. I bet somebody's got a happy hour in Austin. You could go have a good time and have a Cosmo at the bar at the Proper. That's where you should go.
I go out all the time. Don't you
Yeah.
worry. Don't you worry.
Okay,
Well,
so let's go. So now we enter the night portion of the date, and now it's all making sense into like kind of why you went in there somewhat hesitant and questioning him more, and kind of just like walk us through that moment.
I needed answers. Going to the fantasy suite for me, and I love the idea of going off camera, no mics, and having that time. And Mel and I had already had some conversations that we were both like, okay, we're going to talk about this when there are no cameras around because we don't want to share this with the world. Um, but going to the fantasy suite also from my perspective, maybe I'm old fashioned, but even if nothing happens in the fantasy suite, you're going to have to answer questions to that the rest of your life. Speaking of bars, I came home from LA and I go to the bar, meeting a friend there, and a man comes up to me, a very hot man comes up to me and says, I saw you on the show. I recognize you. I loved watching you, and I'm going to buy you a drink because you didn't go to the fantasy suite. He's like,
oh,
from a
okay.
guy's perspective, that's awesome. And so I knew that if he was not going to commit in the end, I'm not here for a boyfriend. I'm just not, I'm simply not. And I don't want to continue to put my life on pause for the hope of a boyfriend. It just wasn't enough for me. And I knew that Mel was worthy of more. He definitely had, my attention and my interest. And if I didn't have it for him, that's fine. But I just, I didn't need to go to the fantasy suite. So I needed some answers in order to accept the card. And I honestly didn't want to embarrass him if he gave me the card and then I said no. So yeah, that's where I was.
Anything
As
happen
honest
with
as
the
I could
hot
be.
man in LA? Did you go to his fantasy suite?
This was in Austin. This was in Austin, and my answer is no to that.
Okay.
Do you go to his fantasy suite? I'm dead. So when you're going into that conversation, obviously you did not get the answers that you were hoping for or looking for in order to continue the process with Mel. What could have Mel said or done in that conversation that would have made you feel comfortable to continue forward?
I did not expect him to make a commitment to me or to pick me over Peg or even to say it's going to be you in the end. But I feel like a man in this position, if you're going to spend this amount of time, you're down to two women. And if you haven't started to think about how your life is going to integrate, and Peg and I are completely different women too. So if you're thinking about, if I'm Mel and I'm thinking about my life, and I haven't thought about my life with Cindy and um, how that might work for him, how that might be different for him, what the challenges might be, what questions he might have for me about those challenges. If he's not on that level, then he's not really in the same place that I am. And clearly we're so far away from an engagement if he's not there.
Yeah.
Did any part of
Yeah.
you wonder if he in that moment had already made his decision and was feeling like, I already know it's Peg?
No.
Interesting.
No. I mean, if it was Peg all along, he wouldn't have behaved with me the way he did.
Yeah.
You know, trolls me on the dock, and if you know you're going to be with someone else, you refrain from those things. I mean, you have niceties and you're gracious, but I think a man or a woman, if you already made your mind up, you behave differently. You're not continuing to kiss and hold and hug and have those intimate moments if you've already made your decision up.
Yeah, and I feel like the word that's been used a lot with Mel is he has a lot of integrity. It would surprise me if he would keep you if he had known it was someone else. Like if he was like, I'm 100% sure it's Peg, I assume that he would likely be upfront with that with you.
And I knew that if I asked him questions, like, if I'd gone to the fantasy suite and asked him what happened with Peg, he would be honest with me. He was, he really was very upfront with me, and I felt I could, I felt I could trust him for sure.
Yeah, he strikes me as an honest, like blunt
Mm-hmm.
person. Like he wouldn't. I don't think he's the type of guy that would just like lead you on.
No,
to,
or like sugarcoat something
yeah.
to make you feel better.
All right, I think this is a good place to take a break with Cindy, and we will be back for part 2.
Thanks so much for listening. We will have new and exclusive interviews every single week. Stay tuned for part 2 with Cindy. Bye.